news center, but now we get into our conversation today. We want to talk about malaria prevalence in the country and where we are. Remember that we have a new strain of malaria, that is Anopheles Stephensi. In studio with me, I have Dr. Damaris Matoke, Deputy Director, Biotechnology Research Program, who will be bringing us up to speed on where we are with regard to malaria prevalence in the country. Dr. welcome to the studio as we have this conversation. Now, malaria for a very long time has been a big problem, not only in Kenya, but Africa. And as we speak right now, we have the new strain. What does this mean in our fight against malaria?
Thanks for having me. Malaria is an issue of concern, not only in Kenya, but Africa at large. In the last year, 2021, we had about 241,000 cases of malaria being reported. And Kenya is also having over 4 million cases. With the emergency of the new strain, that's the vector, the mosquito that causes malaria, we are going to see, we suspect that we're going to see more malaria cases. Like as you're aware, the last 3 weeks, Marsabit County was reporting issues of people dying from an unknown disease. For us responding to this, we noted that it was malaria. Yes.
And this specific mosquito has been prevalent more in Southern Asia, but it's making inroads to Kenya as we speak. And just recently, we also celebrated having the malaria vaccine in the country.
Yes.
But as we speak, what does this new vector mean? Because will the vaccine work, or we have to go back to the drawing board?
Yeah, to start with, the vaccine will work. However, with the emergence of the new species, this means that malaria, the control that we're putting in place, we need to think differently because the new species breeds differently from the other target mosquitoes that we've been tackling as far as malaria is concerned in sub-Saharan Africa. It breeds in areas where there's water containers, water storage containers, where you've left your tires out there. So the mosquito is known to be peri-urban areas. Like as you know, places like Nairobi, the urban settings, we've not been having malaria. But with the introduction of this species, Anopheles Stephensi, it means that we have to start thinking, will we be having cases of malaria in urban setups such as Nairobi? Therefore, it's likely we'll be seeing more cases, but I'm not saying that the cases are here yet, but it's likely that it's going to be a game changer. Therefore, we need to think differently as far as control measures are concerned.
And now that it breeds differently, definitely the urban areas, places that malaria, according to a report that I have here, it will start breeding differently. That means urban areas where malaria cases have been low will start experiencing more numbers. So in terms of just being prepared, what should the health department and government do to just be ready other than wait until it's here, then we're struggling to control?
Yeah, there are many things the Ministry of Health or the government should be doing. One of them is trying to tackle this mosquito from what we call as larvae, the young ones, because if it breeds in water containers, and you know, urban setups, we tend to store water in our drums, in the various cans. So it means that it will start breeding there and malaria will be in Nairobi. Therefore, the government needs to introduce how do we control this mosquito from the young larvae to adults. And more so now making people aware that sleeping under bed net is almost mandatory now because then if this mosquito is out there, then it means that now it will start biting people and then they'll be getting malaria. So control measures needs to be thought through. However, the Ministry of Health, I know, has responded, put in strategies, in documented strategies in addressing this mosquito. And also the beauty that we have the malaria vaccine, which has been rolled out countrywide. This is going to also help help because it's being given to children, young children, at 6, 7, and 9 months. And also there's 48 months. So it's a 4-dose vaccine. This is going also to help in reduction of malaria by 40%. Yes.
Now, this vaccine, you've said, will be administered to children.
Yes.
But where are we as adults?
Adults, okay, we could say that it's one step. You know, as we know, malaria is not something that we can eradicate with one bullet. So the fact that it's going to help us tackle that kind of population. One of the things that we are aware about is that malaria affects children more, the under 5, and also pregnant women. So that population, if it's managed, then we can now use these other control measures for the adults. Use sleeping under bed net, spraying of houses, removing or breeding sites of mosquitoes, and also providing people with the treatment. The idea that people need to be diagnosed. When you feel symptoms of malaria, it's important for you to be able to be screened, tested to know whether it's malaria before you take the anti-malarial. And that means that we'll be able to reduce resistance to these drugs, which is becoming a problem in the country.
And you know, a big problem that we have in the country right now is people assuming that if I'm having a headache, I'll just go get a painkiller off the counter. So what are some of the symptoms that people should be looking out for in the event that it gets here with us? And what's your advice to them?
One of the things we should avoid, when I have headache, don't assume it's malaria and take antimalarials. One of the things we should be doing is that look for the symptoms: fever, high fevers, chills, and also people having high temperatures. So one of the things people should do, don't take antimalarials over the counter. Kindly go to any facility near you. At the moment, we have what we call as the rapid test kits, and these kits are available anywhere in the dispensaries. They will be able to test and confirm whether you're positive of malaria before you take the antimalarials. That's what we encourage anyone to do. Yes.
And now another measure in protecting ourselves, you said, is spraying the rooms and all that. But the people who feel like, I'll be spraying a lot of chemicals. So would you give us an assurance that the various pyrethrum products that we use are actually safe for us? And in the event that someone doesn't feel safe, and others say, if I sleep under net, I feel choked, what's the way out?
That's a great question. There are specific chemicals, pyrethroids, that are recommended for use when spraying houses. We call it indoor residual spraying. You shouldn't just go to the chemical industry and get a chemical for spraying houses. Get advice from Ministry of Health, get advice from the technical, so that your house is sprayed. We never spray Nairobi setups. We usually spray places where malaria is endemic, such as Western Kenya, coastal Kenya, to ensure that mosquitoes do not stay indoors, to bite people indoors. Therefore, we don't encourage people to do their own sprays, but get technical guidance for spraying your houses with these chemicals. And the feeling that you get chokes is because people use the wrong substance, not the right one, because the concentration that is known to work will not really lead to people choking, or the effect, even the smell is not, that pungent smell is not there. So, and sleeping under bed nets, it may be the way people put it up, because it should give you enough space for you to have room for air and be able to sleep under bed nets. But you are encouraged to sleep under bed nets to avoid those mosquito bites. Yes.
And as we know that this mosquito is here with us as we speak. It's in some parts of the country. It's just a matter of time.
Yes.
And Kenyans don't, I'd say information is not out there yet for everybody. As a person who I am with my family, how do I make sure that in getting ready for what is to come, or just getting prepared for malaria altogether, what should we do in our own homes?
One of the statements I want to say here is that let us not get worried, okay? despite the species being reported in the country, it doesn't mean we need to worry, but we need to be proactive on putting measures of control. So the fact that we are aware the species is here, we need to start correlating with the cases of malaria. We haven't seen malaria cases increasing so far. Therefore, since the Ministry of Health is very proactive through the National Malaria Control Program, they are very proactive to ensure that this species does not penetrate further and get out of hand. So for every public person, it's important to just use the normal control measures, ensure that out there you don't have the breeding sites. As I said, the storage water containers, leaving anything that water accumulates and allows the mosquitoes to breed. When you change your tires, kindly dispose of them, don't leave them out there. When you have your water containers, kindly have them covered. Just let's try to have the minimal control measures in place in the meantime, but not to worry and panic, because that will cause, again, people to be paranoid and feel malaria even when they are not having the infection. Yes.
Okay, and it is on that note that we take a short commercial break. Don't go too far. When we come back, we just have a few more issues surrounding malaria and the new vector that is in the country. Daktari said it's a vector. So we'll just get to know much more on malaria after this break.